5 everyday seasonings can quietly push blood pressure higher. Many people think natural salts are harmless. The truth is simple. Even so-called healthy salts still load your body with sodium. Pink crystals do not change that math. If you are over 60, aim for less than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. That is the American Heart Association's ideal target for many older adults with high blood pressure. 1 teaspoon of salt holds about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. That is almost a full day in one small scoop. The American Heart Association also notes there is very little difference in sodium between sea salt and table salt. Both are about 40% sodium by weight. Here's the plan. I will show you 5 items to limit or skip: monosodium glutamate, sea salt, potassium salt substitutes, processed spice blends, and plain table salt. I will also give safer swaps so your food still tastes great. We will keep this calm, clear, and practical. No drama, just evidence and steps you can use today. We start with a very common flavor booster that sneaks in sodium over time, that is monosodium glutamate. Summary for this section: sodium drives blood pressure risk in older adults, and even natural salts are not safer. Now let's begin the countdown with MSG. In number 5, we have monosodium glutamate, or MSG. Many people add it for deep, savory taste, but it hides sodium that adds up fast. By weight, MSG is about 12% sodium. Table salt is about 40% sodium. That gap sounds big, but the risk is the total you eat in a day. Remember, 1 teaspoon of salt holds about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Even small pinches of MSG across soups, snacks, and takeout can raise your daily load. For older adults, especially with high blood pressure, every extra bit matters. There is no large, definitive trial in seniors that proves MSG alone drives blood pressure. Still, the rule stands. More sodium means more strain on vessels and on the heart. I treat MSG like any other sodium source. I read labels for the words monosodium glutamate. If I see it, I plan the rest of my sodium for the day, or I skip it. Over weeks and months, that choice protects my pressure and my energy. Summary for this section: MSG is not pure salt, but it still adds meaningful sodium. Keep it minimal or avoid it. Next up, the big myth around sea salt. In number 4, we have sea salt, including pink or so-called natural salts. It looks pure and rustic, however, it still delivers sodium. The American Heart Association says there is very little difference in sodium between sea salt and table salt. Both are about 40% sodium by weight. 1 teaspoon of either gives you about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Yet many people believe sea salt is a low sodium choice. Surveys show a large share of shoppers think it is safer. It is not. There is another concern with some specialty salts. A peer-reviewed analysis found that 1 sample of Himalayan pink salt contained lead at about 2.59 milligrams per kilogram, above safety limits. That does not mean all pink salt is unsafe, but it reminds me that natural is not the same as risk-free, especially for aging kidneys that work harder to clear heavy metals. Here's my simple step. I use measuring spoons for any salt. Big crystals can fool me into shaking on more than I think. I keep the total small and steady. Summary for this section: sea salt is not healthier than table salt. Treat both the same and measure carefully. Next, are potassium salt substitutes any better? In number 3, we have potassium-based salt substitutes. They cut regular sodium, but they add potassium. For many healthy adults, that trade can help. For older adults with kidney issues or on certain medicines, it can be dangerous. For example, a common light salt lists about 290 milligrams of sodium and about 350 milligrams of potassium per 1/4 teaspoon. Scale that to 1 teaspoon, and you reach about 1,160 milligrams of sodium and about 1,400 milligrams of potassium. If kidneys are weak, or if you take ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or potassium-sparing diuretics, blood potassium can climb too high. That is called hyperkalemia, and it can affect heart rhythm. Kidney guidelines advise avoiding potassium-enriched salts in advanced chronic kidney disease, such as stage 4 or stage 5. Also, some large salt substitute trials excluded higher-risk patients. That means their results may not apply to you. I keep it simple. I ask my doctor before using any potassium salt. If this helps you, subscribe to PrepWise for calm, data-backed guidance you can use each week. Summary for this section: potassium salts lower sodium, but can raise potassium to unsafe levels in some seniors. Now, let's check the hidden sodium in seasoning blends. In number 2, we have processed spice blends like garlic salt, onion salt, and many seasoning packets. They taste great, but they hide a lot of sodium. Many labels list about 200 to 400 milligrams of sodium in just 1/4 teaspoon. For comparison, 1/4 teaspoon of plain salt gives you roughly 575 milligrams of sodium. Garlic salt is often 60 to 75% salt by weight. It is easy to overshoot your daily limit with only a few shakes. Packets for tacos, soups, or marinades can deliver a very large sodium hit in one serving. Many blends also add extras like MSG, sugar, dyes, or anti-caking agents. That can push sodium higher and make label reading harder. My fix is straightforward. I build flavor with single ingredient spices and herbs. I use garlic powder instead of garlic salt, onion powder instead of onion salt, plus cumin, smoked paprika, and black pepper. I control the salt separately and keep it tiny. Summary for this section. Pre-made blends often pack salt and additives. Choose single spices to cut sodium. We are down to number 1. Let's talk about plain table salt. In number 1, we have plain table salt. It is simple, common, and very powerful. By weight, table salt is about 40% sodium. 1 teaspoon contains about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. For many adults over 60, the ideal daily goal is less than 1,500 milligrams. You can see the problem. A single teaspoon can exhaust the day. Iodized salt adds iodine for thyroid health, but it does not reduce sodium or lower blood pressure. Most adults already eat more sodium than they realize in bread, soups, sauces, and deli meats. When you add shakes at the table, the total climbs even faster. Here is how I cut it. I measure. I cook with small amounts and taste before I add more. I lean on acid and heat for brightness, like lemon juice, lime, vinegar, chili, and fresh pepper. These boost flavor without the sodium load. Summary for this section. Table salt is the largest sodium source in home cooking. Measure tiny amounts and use acid and spices instead. Next, I will show safe natural swaps that protect flavor in your heart. Flavor without risk is possible. I reach for real herbs and spices, not salts. Garlic, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, basil, rosemary, thyme, oregano, and smoked paprika build deep taste. Garlic, whether raw or as powder, is linked with modest blood pressure drops in some studies. If you use anticoagulants, ask your doctor before large amounts. Hibiscus tea has shown about a 7 millimeter of mercury drop in systolic pressure in small trials. It is a simple, warm drink that many older adults enjoy. Black pepper adds bite and may support healthy blood flow. If you take warfarin, check with your clinician. Bright acids do heavy lifting. I use lemon, lime, vinegar, and tomato to wake up dishes. Heat helps too, from red pepper flakes or chills. If your clinician says it is safe, add potassium-rich foods like spinach, beans, and apricots to shift taste toward fresh, not salty. I also mix a zero-salt house blend with dried oregano, basil, garlic powder, onion powder, thyme, and a touch of smoked paprika. It sits by my stove, ready for any meal. Summary for this section. Build flavor with herbs, acid, and heat. They reduce the need for salt while supporting heart health. The puzzle is solved. We covered 5 seasonings that quietly raise risk for older adults. MSG, sea salt, potassium salt substitutes, processed spice blends, and plain table salt all add sodium or strain the body in different ways. The science is steady. Sea and table salt deliver similar sodium. 1 teaspoon gives about 2,300 milligrams. Many blends hide salt under tasty flavors. Potassium salts can be risky for kidneys and for people on certain medicines. You have strong options. Use herbs, acid, and heat. Garlic and hibiscus show modest blood pressure benefits in studies. Build a zero-salt blend and taste more of the food, not the salt. If you want steady, practical guidance, subscribe to PrepWise. I post clear, calm briefings that help you protect your heart and your home kitchen. Thank you for watching. What seasoning will you ditch first to protect your blood pressure? Summary for this section. Cut or limit the 5 risky seasonings and swap in natural flavors for control and safety. Choose what helps your heart and keep your meals satisfying. Conclusive statement. Smart seasoning is a daily choice that protects your health.